Avengers Endgame is almost here! With more than a decade of setup, millions of people across the world are eager to see how the remaining heroes manage to defeat Thanos and restore life to half of the universe. We already have a couple of videos focusing on how the events of the movie might play out, and you should totally check those out after this video. But today, we're gonna try and answer an even bigger question. What will the Marvel heroes do after the end of Endgame? This video will use the limited information we have about the movie so far, comments from the actors, and events from the comics to predict what's in store for all of our favorite characters. Get ready, because we're going to predict what's next for our favorite MCU characters before Sony has a chance to spoil some of it again. First up, we have the hero that started the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Following the passing of Peter Parker in his arms during the snap, Tony Stark is taking the loss to Thanos even harder than most of our other heroes. He seems willing to do anything to revive those who perished, and that would explain how quickly he forgave Steve Rogers for his actions in Captain America: Civil War. However, it seems like Tony might hang up his Iron Man suit after Avengers Endgame. Tony's entire character arc in the MCU is centered on him figuring out what it means to be a hero and coming to terms with the fact that he can't save everyone and protect the Earth from every possible threat. Restoring life to half of the universe will probably be enough for him to feel like he's finally done enough in trying to make life better for everyone. After Endgame, it wouldn't be surprising if Tony marries Pepper Potts, the two start a family, and he takes on more of a mentor role for characters like Peter Parker and other younger heroes. He deserves some downtime, and taking a step back from his life as a hero would demonstrate that he's finally accepted that he can't save the world alone. Instead, he'd do more good by passing on what he's learned to the next generation of heroes. Next up is Chris Evans' Captain America. The most likely life for Steve Rogers following Thanos' defeat is that he rejoins a remodeled S.H.I.E.L.D. and continues to fight those who would do the world harm. But that's a pretty boring outcome for the first Avenger, and there's a more fun future for him on the table too. Or maybe that should be a fun past. If time travel will be a central component in Avengers Endgame, then Rogers could totally just return to the 1940s and rekindle his relationship with Peggy Carter. Okay, maybe this outcome is a little far-fetched, but the man-out-of-time element of Rogers' character has gotten played down in recent movies, and this would really be the happy ending he deserves. Then there's Chris Hemsworth's Thor. The now King of Asgard will probably spend his time finding a new home for his people following Avengers Endgame. After all, his nation was destroyed in Thor Ragnarok, and Thanos' army didn't exactly help the situation when they showed up immediately after the devastation. Thor may also act as a connecting figure between the different genres emerging in the MCU. It seems like future Marvel films will either focus on more grounded events on Earth, supernatural and magical happenings across different realms, and sci-fi adventures in space. As Thor is part god, part alien, and also likes hanging out on Earth, he seems like the obvious means to tie together the branching themes of the MCU. Then again, these characters might perish for good in the next Avengers film. All of the actors who play these heroes have expressed an interest in moving beyond the MCU, and their contracts are up in the following Avengers Endgame. Even if Disney wanted them all to stay on, it would be far more expensive to sign them for a multi-movie deal now than when they agreed to their roles a decade ago. It might be hard to watch, but these three going out in a blaze of glory or in some self-sacrificing fashion might be for the best. It would be a bummer if they all just faded into the background and never showed up again. It would really suck to see these heroes go, but they are leaving the universe in exceptionally capable hands. Like the Hulk, or Hulks for that matter. The more delicate stuff should probably go to Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner, but the Hulk can easily handle just about any threat by himself. As he's the only Phase 1 hero whose solo movie hasn't gotten a sequel yet, hopefully we'll see Banner and the Hulk go on another adventure of their own soon. This could be entirely plausible, as the MCU may be fleshing the Hulk out for more in Endgame. Banner and the Hulk have both grown in some pretty interesting ways. The Hulk is now a full-blown character with his own personality rather than a monster for Banner to suppress. Banner is also struggling a bit in dealing with the nature of his shared body. It would make a lot of sense if another Hulk movie examined how these characters are changing. Maybe this solo movie could even adapt the Planet Hulk storyline, or possibly the incredibly named The Brute That Shouted Love at the Heart of Adam. That's a lot of great Hulk material out there, and it'd be great to see a version of one of his storylines on screen. Black Widow is also set to get her own solo film after Avengers Endgame. About time, right? After years of appearing as a supporting character and having minor storylines about her potential budding romance with other characters, Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff deserves a movie of her own. Hopefully, it's the first dedicated spy movie in the MCU and gets back to the heart of the character. Sure, it's great seeing Black Widow kick aliens, but it'd be even more fun to see her outwilling entire villainous organizations with ease. Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye will just end up doing whatever dads with sleeve tattoos do once Avengers Endgame wraps up. Okay, obligatory Hawkeye jokes aside, the character will be getting his own series following Avengers Endgame. This project will likely appear on the Disney Plus streaming service and will involve Clint training Kate Bishop. This further confirms that the hero will appear as Ronin in Endgame, as in the comics, Bishop takes on the Hawkeye mantle after the older hero takes on the new role. Next up, we have Don Cheadle's Rhodey, otherwise known as War Machine. As War Machine has been more of a sidekick than much else so far in the MCU, hopefully he'll step up to more of a leading role in the next set of movies. One way or another, someone is going to have to fill Iron Man's shoes as Robert Downey Jr. exits the series, and War Machine is already wearing a pair of matching iron boots. Chadwick Boseman is almost certainly going to star in another film with T'Challa as the lead after the success of the first Black Panther film. Although Wakanda is now a pretty established nation for viewers and our heroes, it's still in the process of being fully introduced to the world within the MCU. Perhaps the next Black Panther movie will focus on the difficulties of integrating the advanced nation into the broader world? Or maybe this declaration leads to some internal strife. Either way, the cast of the Black Panther movie and the location of Wakanda are way too good to only make minor appearances going forward, and they more than deserve another film of their own. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel can do one of two things following the events of Avengers Endgame. She can either go back to hanging out with the Skrulls in space like she has been, or hang out with most of the other Marvel heroes on Earth. The latter is definitely the more fun option, and considering that the movie has made more than $1 billion, a sequel is almost guaranteed. Maybe we'll see her deal with more space threats, or become a new leader of the Avengers. One way or another, this won't be the last we see of this terrific space heroine. Then again, she could also join the Guardians of the Galaxy as they continue their space adventures. Even if it's not totally clear right now if Gamora will join the group again or not, it is confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will happen and that James Gunn will direct the project. From a post-credits scene in Guardians Volume 2, we can guess that our heroes will face off against Adam Warlock in their next movie. In the comics, Adam Warlock is a super being that draws his power from the comic equivalent of the Soul Stone. Since he's usually depicted as a hero, it's more than likely that the Guardians will eventually convince Adam to join them over the course of the third film. Then there's Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. After Avengers Endgame, the Sorcerer Supreme will almost certainly go back to defending the Earth from dark forces in other realms. This means that he'll probably act as a means to explore the more mystical side of the Marvel canon. Hopefully this means we'll soon see other magical characters in the MCU soon, like Clea, Brother Voodoo, and Merlin. Like the actual Merlin from the King Arthur fables. That's a real character in Marvel Comics and might be in the MCU soon. Before we might get any more wizards though, we'll see Tom Holland's Spider-Man head to Europe in Spider-Man Far From Home. Sony kind of gave away the end of Endgame by showing off the trailer for this movie and showing that Peter Parker does come back to life somehow, but it still looks like a blast. Here, Spider-Man will face off against the Elementals, a race of interdimensional beings who tried to take over the world thousands of years ago. This task is given to him by Nick Fury while on a class trip across Europe. It also seems like the usually villainous Mysterio will be helping him with this task. It seems like there's a betrayal in the works, but at least we can appreciate how cool Jake Gyllenhaal looks playing a character that has a fishbowl for a head. Oh, and Peter Parker will also probably stop being a hero by the end of the movie, and for more on that you can check out this previous video. It's also heavily rumored that Falcon and the Winter Soldier, played by Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan respectively, will get their own show on Disney+, where they'll probably work as S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. It's also confirmed that there will be a Vision and Scarlet Witch series on Disney+. We can only hope that it's a sitcom because it would be fantastic seeing Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen playing their characters in that setting. We know that Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury will continue his work protecting the Earth from the Far From Home trailer, so that just leaves Josh Brolin's Thanos. It seems more than likely that the greatest MCU villain will perish before our heroes like so many before him have. Then again, maybe falling to the Avengers will allow him to meet with Lady Death and he'll fall in love with her like in the comics. Only time will tell though, and unfortunately, time only seems to move more slowly as we draw close to Endgame's April 26th release date. What do you think will happen to the Marvel heroes following the conclusion of Avengers Endgame? Or how do you think they'll manage to defeat Thanos and restore half of all life to the universe? Please let us know your own theories in the comments section down below. While you're there, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to Behind the Screen. We have loads of Marvel videos up already and plenty more coming soon. No matter what's up next for the MCU, we are here for it and ready to help you catch up.